There is a problem of the past that still lingers on, and this particular problem only seems to get much, much worse over time. And that problem is referred to as extremist Islam or extreme Quran ideologies, whatever you want to call it. And it's quite clear to me that everything has been reversed, everything has been bastardized, like George Orwell's 1984 book, where love is referred to as hate and freedom is referred to as slavery, and Islam is referred to as peaceful. If you have to if you have to globally state that your religion is peaceful, then it is clearly not. Most likely, it's not like governments are trying to bastardize the Quran, bastardize Islam. It's not like massive majorities of the population are trying to do so. It's just that in reality, Islam and the Quran's teachings have led to so much murder, so much rape, so much violence, so much slavery, so much conflict, so much poverty, so much terrorism, and on, so much of it that it has forced nearly the entire Muslim population throughout the world to openly state, to on a global scale state repeatedly, our religion is a religion of peace. If you have to say that, then it is clearly not so. It is clearly not true, and it's quite evident to me that Google is whitewashing reality. They are damning the truth, because everywhere I look on Google, they whitewash the truth. They hide what I'm trying to look for. They hide the truth that I'm trying to find. And this is one good example. I look up Muslim stabbing, and what do I find? Everything to do with Muslims being stabbed, or Muslims stabbing civilians, and nearly everything that I find is everything to do with Islamophobia and abuse towards Muslims. Everything has been silenced. Everything has been reversed and bastardized to the point to where if you speak truth and you speak moral things, you're silenced, or you're murdered for it. And it's quite ironic that the very systems in place that are supposed to be helping us will openly go against us, while in reality go against evil in the dark. But they're too afraid. They're too adamant on not upsetting anyone. They're too adamant on keeping as much peace as possible with a religion that is not peaceful. And a great example would be the CIA, that refuses to refer to certain Muslim groups as extremist Muslims, or Muslim terrorists, or Islamic terrorists, Islamic cultists, whatever it may be. They refuse to refer to these different Quran reading groups for what they really are. They refer to call them what they really are. And in the shadows, they'll go. The CIA will go and they'll assassinate leaders, Muslim leaders. They'll go and arrest Muslims, and people that plot bombing terrorist attacks. They'll do this, and they'll monitor people that are Muslim, that even just have Muslim names. The CIA and the NSA and the Department of Defense will go and do all this, but they won't openly state it. And if these groups that support true safety, security, and that stand against true extremist religions won't openly state, their opposition towards them, imagine what what other groups are doing, that are likely in full support of these terrorist ideologies. And you can say that I'm a bit of an extremist myself, or I'm perhaps deluded, but I'm quite sure that I've done my homework, I've done my research, and the thousands and hundreds of thousands of statistics and articles that I've looked at are clearly a very clear sign of the truth, but these things are slowly being destroyed, slowly being hidden, being whitewashed by some false bullshit lie that Islam is a religion of peace. Fuck that. Fuck no, it's not true. And I refuse to go along with it. I refuse, you know. Like Toby Robinson, our unsung hero. And is it Toby or Tony? I forget which it is. But the UK man standing against the Islamist, rapist, mass murderers. He's an unsung hero. You know, he's a true man of humanity, in my opinion. And the more that we continue to not try to harm other people's emotions, their feelings, the more we try to get away from that, the more we're going to actually do more harm in the long run. You know, you don't want to call someone fat because it offends them, but you keep accepting them. You keep telling them it's okay, or oh, they're not fat. You keep whitewashing the truth. They're going to keep eating until they die of a heart attack. The denial of reality leads to far more extreme, harsh consequences, and this 1984 George Orwellian future that's coming, in particular to Britain and China and many other places, is not going to do humanity any good whatsoever in the long run, or even at the start. It's going to do absolutely no one any good. And the Prime Minister of the UK, in my opinion, is a shill, bastard man-child, with the intelligence of someone with well, I can't say that for legal reasons, but he's a foolish shill man-child who has absolutely no gohennas to any comprehensible degree. The man is an absolute blowover. You know, he's weak, and he's pathetic, and what he's doing is going to completely destroy his country. The man that supports Islam clearly has no understanding of the Quran whatsoever. He's not read it. I'm sure he doesn't know one verse in the Quran. The man is an absolute shill. You don't support something that you know nothing about. And I've seen in history, I've studied history, and I've seen how time and time again people support different groups, and then those groups become too large and violent, and then it causes a bunch of problems. And the UK is compromised. The UK needs to be immediately taken over by another country. It needs to be changed. You know, we'll use that lighter word. It needs to be changed immediately by a foreign country. Let's say like Germany or Spain or Sweden or Norway or Finland, whatever. It needs to be changed. It needs to be replaced, taken over by another country, and the Islamic extremist cells that are starting to spread everywhere in the country need to be taken care of by every mean, by all means necessary immediately, before it gets extremely far out of control. And they whitewash everything. They don't want to admit the truth. And the religion that calls itself peaceful is the most violent religion that has ever existed, and it's led to more deaths of its own people and others than any other religion in history. Christianity does not compare. Christianity does not compare to any degree whatsoever to the Quran, and Muslim violence and murder. It doesn't compare at all, and child abuse, to put it very vaguely, because of YouTube's guidelines and censorship, which is reaching George Orwellian 1984 levels, which is very disturbing in my opinion. And so anyway, that's all I have to say in this video. So like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.